Hello there, I'm Scotty, and you're not in full discretion. I'm coming down with a bit of a cold. I've had a bit of a sore throat. Taking some stuff for it. I'm okay right now, so I figured I'd record this while I can. So, just so you know, I have pre-recorded a couple videos for the next few days, but I don't know. I got Fridays done, so that's good. I pre-recorded that. I don't know. But I finally watched Lightyear this past weekend on Disney Plus with my son, and I have a few things to talk about with this movie. So, background. When this movie was coming out, wasn't really hyped. A Buzz Lightyear solo film. We've already seen that. Buzz Lightyear Star Command. It was a pilot for a TV series that I thought was actually good. It was around, my brother was the age when that came out. I did watch a little bit of it, but he watched that movie all the time when he was little. So, but yeah. And so they just came out. It's gonna be a Buzz Lightyear solo movie. It's gonna be the movie in which the toy in Toy Story is based off of. Okay. But big red flag here. Tim Allen was not coming back to do the voice. They replaced him with Chris Evans. Oh boy. Did people get up in arms about that? Oh, if Tim Allen's not coming back, I'm not going to watch it. I didn't watch it when it first came out. Not because I didn't want to or because of the Tim Allen thing. I just wasn't interested. It was just like, eh. But I knew that I wanted to include this in my rankings for the year. So eventually I had to. And my son recently got a toy like a month ago. And then for Christmas, he got another toy. And so I said, because he got that toy, the first toy, I'm like, you haven't even seen the movie yet. He's like, no. We didn't know what the cat was. We didn't know what the robot said Eric on it was. Eric! And he got more stuff. A Zurg with another Buzz Lightyear, which looked like he was in the actual, Buzz Lightyear suit. So, yeah. Another thing that threw me off in the trailers was that Buzz Lightyear had hair. Now, obviously, he had hair, but it never crossed my mind because he always had that purple thing on his head. So to me, that was his head, But I guess it never actually crossed my mind. But, So we finally sat down and we watched this movie. And there are things to say. First of all, I don't think the plot of this movie works for a Buzz Lightyear film. It sounds like generic space film with Buzz Lightyear shoved in. That's what it feels like, too. I don't know. But right away, we'll just go ahead and start talking about this movie. It comes up in 1995. Andy, a boy named Andy, got a Buzz Lightyear toy for his birthday. This is the movie that toy came from. So right away, bullshit. Okay? If this is supposed to be the movie where the toy came from, there is so much wrong with that. One, this animation, the Pixar animation that we have in this movie, is fantastic. In 1995, you would not have animation this good. See the first Toy Story for that. And yet, in a world that looks like that, the movie that came out about Buzz Lightyear looks like this. 2. At the opening of Buzz Lightyear Star Command DVD, they made a big deal about that being the first movie about Buzz Lightyear. This is very much a retcon, because it's very much, from the beginning, much like with Toy Story 4, where it was retconned, and you're not going to convince me any other retcon that Bo Peep was Molly's toy when no, it wasn't. She was Andy's, but they retconned it so they can have a reason for it to go. I don't know. Now all of a sudden, Buzz is a movie toy. I thought maybe a TV show or something, or just a toy line. Sometimes there's just toy lines. They're not connected, and they get a show later. Like, I think Transformers and G.I. Joe were toy lines first. Mighty Max was a toy line first, and then they created the show to sell toys. So, yeah, that could have been something like that. They were selling toys. Ninja Turtles had the toys made before the cartoon show even came out. Of course, that was based on a comic book, but still. I'm in that situation. It's just space toys, you know? But no, this is the movie. And after watching this movie, I seriously doubt that this particular movie could excite an 8-year-old like Andy the way it did back then. I'm sorry, but no. This movie, if you want it's not like some big Space Ranger saving the day kind of movie like you would think. It's, I don't know. It's very different in a way. And big reason why this would not be a movie that came out in 1995. And again, this is not negative, but there is a same-sex couple in this. Buzz's partner or friend Hawthorne, Commando Hawthorne, she has a wife. Or domestic partner, whatever you want to call it. In this film. This would not be in a movie that came out in 1995. Guaranteed. Would not happen. So for you to start this movie with, this is the movie that the toy came from, is complete and total bullshit. If you're going to do that, you have to make it a movie from 1995. You have to have that kind of animation. You have to make sure that everything fits within 1995 movie standards. Like this could be a movie that comes out in 1995. This is not that at all. You would not have the same-sex relationship. You would not have great animation like that. It's just messed up. So let's get to the story. The story is Buzz Lightyear and his crew are on this planet. They're investigating to see if there's any kind of life on it, any threats, to see if it's inhabitable. They find there are killer vines and some weird bug things that look like they were stolen from Wreck-It Ralph. And then realize it's uninhabitable. But when they try to take off in their big ship and go to hyperspeed, it fails and they end up stuck on this planet. So Buzz Lightyear is now tasked with trying to figure out a way to get off this planet. Try to figure out a way to get hyperspeed to work to get off this planet. And that's the bulk of the movie. Does that sound like something an 8-year-old boy would like? It would be best movie for an 8-year-old to watch, and me, my favorite superhero, Buzz Lightyear. No. He doesn't even actually have his suit until the end. It's a origin movie, but not. Because it starts off as if you should know these characters already. Like, you have Buzz and Hawthorne and some other guy whose name is unpronounceable. So if you could remember it. Whatever. And they're going through, and you get him going, Buzz Lightyear, Star Command, come in, Star Command. Why aren't they answering? And the whole thing, there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere. The terrain is little. It's verbatim the lines he says when he wakes up on Andy's bed. It's every single line. He's like, there's no telling if the air is breathable. The ground is a little bit unstable. Seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere. Verbatim, the lines. And then we get Hawthorne, and she's like, you talking to yourself again? No. Like, he's the only one that does this when it was very much back in the day, like, oh, that's what the Space Rangers do. But here, like, nope, it's just him. So right away, that's like, oh, so they're throwing that out as a normal thing for Space Rangers to do. Why? Yes, they kind of took it from Star Trek, but, you know, just saying. So yeah, they get stuck on the planet, and so Buzz spends the time trying to figure it out. Here's where the problem lies. Instead of him just trying over and over and over again, they put in this plot point that I don't really like, where the first time he tries it, so they're stuck there, and it's been like a year now, and they've got this whole thing set up, so he takes off and tries it. Doesn't work, comes back, and 4 years have passed. And so 4 years have passed. Hawthorne is now married to this woman, which again, this movie from 1995, you wouldn't have that. She'd be married to a man, very much, you know. But, you know. And he gets this cat named Socks, which is the comic relief. And, you know, and yeah, so he's going to keep on trying. And we have a montage. Montage! You gotta do it in the montage! So they have a montage of him doing it, and as things going, they get older, and they have again, she's pregnant. So I guess they did have donors back then, I guess, but I don't know. So it had to be a sperm donor, I guess. Don't talk about that in the kids movie, but so they have a kid, and then it grows up, and then it's adult, it's graduating, and eventually it leads to where you think it's going to lead. She dies. She leaves a message for Buzz that she obviously died before he was able to come back. And this new commander has shut this down. He's not going to do it anymore. He's done. And by now, Hawthorne's granddaughter is now around. That's how much that's gone. Because we see that in the thing, my granddaughter, yeah. And, yeah. So, and they're going to take Socks away from him, too. And this is all, like, the first half hour of the movie. And the rest is just trying to figure out. Also, so, yeah, the granddaughter. So, now, he wants to try it one more time. He's going to get out there. He's going to try it. He goes. He figures out that he has to combine the fuel sources together, and he gets it to work. But he still crashes on the planet. And now, 10 years have passed instead of 4. And he's stuck outside this barrier that the commander put up. And there's a Zurg ship up in the sky. Yep. So Zurg is here now. He's invaded at some point. I think they said 3 years after he left, I think it showed up. And Zurg has these robots that go, Zurg. And you think, that's weird. Why do they say Zurg? You may think, like when it shows up, they go, Zurg. But they say it anyway. Okay, Zurg programmed the name. Them to say his name. Oh, we're going to talk about Zurg because that is the biggest no-no with this movie. But that's later. So, he's stuck outside the thing, and he's fighting off against these robots, where he comes across Hawthorne's granddaughter and 3 other cadets. One voiced by Taika Waititi, and or 2 other cadets, excuse me. One voiced by Taika Waititi, old lady, and then there is a robot, and Eric, that is Deanna. It's Derek now, I guess, and they are trying to figure out, you know, stuff. And so they have to, the robots steal his fuel source, so they have to go and they have to get the fuel source. Buzz is brought to, there's a whole bunch of fighting against the robots and stuff. They're trying to use the fuel source. He still wants to get them off the planet. But they've kind of live on the planet now, you know. But it's Buzz wants to get them off the planet. That's his thing. He wants to be off the planet. He has the fuel source to do it, and he can prove it. Right? Right. So eventually, They take the fuel source. The robots show up. They take the fuel source and Buzz to Zurg, and it's revealed that Zurg is Buzz Lightyear from an alternate future. Where it worked, he landed and was arrested. Instead of crashing, he landed and was arrested by the commander. But he was able to get away and shot himself to the future, where he found the Zurg suit and ship, so it's implied that there was another Zurg some point. I don't know, it could be another paradox where, like, this Zurg is defeated and the ship's left in the future, and so that other Buzz finds it. It's meant to happen. The circle, it's a paradox, but it's going to keep on happening. Who knows? But it's never really explained. But yeah, that's what Zurg is in this movie, and it blew my mind. I was like, what the fuck were they thinking? Like, really? What were they thinking? Like, what? No. And a lot of people were complaining, no, Zurg's supposed to be his father. First of all, that was a joke. That was a joke in Toy Story 2. Zurg is not Buzz Lightyear's father. Never has been. That was a joke. It was a Star Wars nod. That's all it was. It was never meant to be taken serious. So anyone who did, you're just wrong. Okay? But this is even worse than that. Like, why? Whose idea was to do this? Again, this screams of different script, and they shove Buzz Lightyear in. That's what it screams of. But, you know, this Buzz wants to use it to go back in time and stop them from crashing on the planet in the first place. Thus, it would create a paradox, first of all, and they wouldn't be stuck on there. But people have lives, and Hawthorne has a granddaughter, and she wouldn't be born if that didn't land on that planet. So our Buzz has a change of heart, and yeah, it's a fight against Zurg. Zurg is defeated, launched into space, and they're able to come back down, and yeah, everything is hunky-dory. Yeah, there's 2 socks now. One sacrificed himself. It's the damaged one. That's with Buzz. But yeah. Oh, and by the way, why do the robots say Zurg? Because they can't pronounce Buzz. Ain't that a bunch of bullshit? And what happened to evil Emperor Zurg? I would just assume if you're already starting this, it's a pre-started universe where Buzz has friends and he's already a space ranger, then why can't Zurg already exist? It was very confusing when it's like, oh, who's that? He calls himself Zurg, I guess. And like, they showed up. I'm like, what? No, what? Shouldn't I? If this story already, I don't know. It's very confusing, but yeah. There's a couple jokey post-credit scenes that I don't fully remember, but then there's a mid-credit scene that's a joke, one post-credit scene is a joke, and then another post-credit scene that teases that Zurg is still alive. I don't think we're getting a sequel to this. If they do, I don't know. The movie didn't work for me. I'm going to say it's not worth your time. It just didn't work for me. This was... Whose idea was it to make Zurg an alternate Buzz Lightyear? And it's only called Zurg because the robots can't say Buzz. It's... No. It being Buzz's father would be better than that, but that's still stealing from Star Wars, and I never took that seriously anyway. I thought it was more of an in-joke Star Wars joke, which is funny because they were their own Star Wars, so. But, this is not worth your time. The animation is good, and there's some decent action sequences. He doesn't get his wings till the end of the movie, which, again, invokes origin story, but it starts off as if you already should know who Buzz is. It's one of those things where, this is sort of an origin, but you know who Buzz Lightyear is. We need to introduce you. Having hair is weird, but still, I don't know. It's not worth your time. So what are your thoughts on Lightyear? In the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.